to This Week in Vegas, a bettor's view. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo, along with my partner in crime, Vegas runner. It's Super Bowl week. How big is Super Bowl week in Vegas VR? I've only been here 2 years. You tell me.
It don't get any bigger than this. I rank it ahead of even that opening weekend of March Madness, to be honest with you. And even though the facts are that Vegas only books such a small percentage of all the action that's bet on this big game, the bottom line is this is where the festivities are. I mean, there's not a hotel or casino that's not throwing a party for the big game and a VIP party to bring in the whales. I mean, there's action throughout the game. People definitely have already started coming to town. I mean, most of the people start coming in Friday, you know, and Saturday when they start driving in from California, Arizona, Utah, all the surrounding states. So all them people are coming here, let alone people that have planned this throughout the year to come for Super Bowl week. Because truth is, it is a festivity, and I visited a handful of sports books already throughout the week, and I'm already seeing the excitement everywhere. I mean, that's all people are talking about. The boards are filled with every Super Bowl bet you could possibly make. So I mean, I know in every city, the bars, they have their squares and people get into it and they got their, you know, the local watering hole that they visit and watch with friends. But it's a little bit different the way they do it here. It is a festivity, it is huge, and they do a wonderful job.
Well, I've spent 3 Super Bowls here in Vegas. 2 of them I traveled out and I ended up going to parties, like you said.
Right.
You know, one of them was at the Stardust back in the day when they were still open. You know, and it was fun. You know, you paid, I think it was like $35 or something, and you went in and got your food. Now, I mean, the food's not great. You know,
exactly.
Got,
depending on
you know,
you get what you paid for. They got the $100 parties. They got the VIP parties where you get great food. You know, then they got the smaller ones. There's a lot of nightclubs even that are opening up to have, you know, a Super Bowl party, and that's a lot of fun. You know, I'm not talking about the strip bars.
I was just going to say,
they're having their party.
You can't drive on the radio.
Yeah, we're not hearing about what strip bars having
the Bada Bing,
Super Bowl.
the
Everybody's
Sapphires.
having one. Exactly, everyone's having one. But even the nightclubs are having it, and I mean, it's just a big deal out here, and not just the money bet on the Super Bowl, but just the revenue it brings to the city is huge, and they look forward to it year in and year out.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and this is something that us as gamblers have to factor in, that the Super Bowl is an event.
Yeah.
And there's more money bet on this game
Sure.
than any other game,
Sure.
any sporting event, period. Because, let's face it, the NFL is the biggest marketing machine ever. And did you see the latest thing? Any vendors in around the Super Bowl or in New Orleans that are making shirts and putting the Who Dat on it, the NFL
once a piece.
They're not allowed to do it. They're stopping them. They say they own the rights to that claim.
They stopped us here in Vegas from calling it the Super Bowl, if you remember a while back.
Right.
So many parties got canceled, and they had to take down all them banners and all those logos and all the lighting that they had up, and they had to start calling it the big game. And
it's the NFL
championship. Yeah, I mean, they don't have the right to call it a Super Bowl. And I think the first year, people got a little upset, and believe it or not, some things got canceled because there was a problem about they were charging to get in. So the NFL wanted a cut of that because they couldn't broadcast something that they own and charge for it. So I think they had to find ways of legal loopholes around it, as in you're not paying to watch the game, you're paying for the food, you're paying for this or that, and the game just happens to be on. I think that's how they got through it. I mean, now they're even putting betting kiosks in, so you don't even have to leave the venue. I mean, wherever you're at, you could bet. And I mean, it was huge before the props, but now with the props, everyone is getting down, man.
Just to give you guys an idea of props, in my hand is the prop list for the M.
Yeah.
This is just the M.
Oh, yeah.
We've got, talk for a second here, I got 2, 3, 4, we've got over a dozen pages.
And that's not even one of the bigger
props.
ones.
And yeah.
Go to the Hilton where Jay Cornegay runs it, and he was king of props and actually put back in the day, the Imperial Palace was where you went for props. That's where everybody went for props. They put up the most props you know, in all of Vegas. And because he's at the Hilton now, he took that reputation with him. And they do a banner job. They're the first to put him out, and most casinos go down there and actually steal their props and use them and then have to use their numbers to adjust. But to make a long story short, they put them out the soonest. I mean, they've already worked on the matchup, like I said last week, before the Saints game was final. Before the Colts game started, they started working on props, Colts versus Saints. They might have had to go back and readjust like they've had so many times in the past. But this year, because they didn't have to, they put them out. And from what I'm hearing, we're expecting to see a whole new wave of props come out on Friday from books, as in the ones they were holding back on. From I've been hearing this everywhere, that don't get too excited because you haven't seen them all. So, I mean, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Well, I talked to a guy in town yesterday, a professional bettor here in town, and one of the props you can bet if there's a missed field goal, is it missed left or right? Sure. And they actually, you know, and he said the smart money, if there's a missed field goal, it's going to be missed left, because they went back and looked at all the field goals.
Well, now they do the homework, Marco, and there's not that. I mean, there's an edge, but there's not that huge of an edge, and the house knows what it's doing. The first prop Las Vegas offered, if people remember, was the Bears Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, 1985. And what they did was they put William Perry, will he score a touchdown? And it was Jimmy Vaccaro who put up the first prop in Vegas. And he put it up at 40-1. And everybody was laying their $20, $10 just for fun on the fridge. And I forget what it went off at, but it didn't go off at 40-1. It was such a heavy one-sided bet. Make a long story short, Fridge scored a touchdown.
He scored a touchdown.
And they lost a ton of money. Never again have they put out a prop bet without making sure they've done the homework and at least not giving you true odds on any of the wagers.
And going back to that Fridge touchdown, if you ever got Mike Ditka cornered for an interview and asked him if there's ever one thing he regrets of ever doing, and I swear to God that it would be that he didn't get Sweetness a touchdown.
Oh, really? I could imagine. Yeah, sure, sure. The most deserving.
Yeah, I mean, that guy was and I, you know, at the moment,
and the story afterwards too.
I was caught up in the moment of that game. You know, when Fridge come in and he scored the touchdown.
When you're happy for him,
you see the big hog getting the touchdown.
I was for whatever. I had the Patriots. I'm not gonna lie.
But as the game progressed after that, and Peyton never got the chance for the touchdown, and he didn't get it, I really just thought, you know, that you shouldn't have went with the gimmick.
Yeah.
You should have got
gave it to your guy who got you there.
Because that was
these years who held the franchise together.
That is probably one of the classiest players that that ever played the game.
As time's winding down, I just want to give out my man Nader prop. What I'm wearing right now, fellas, is rawteams.com. It's a great concept. Anyone that is interested in sports, from the professional level to the amateur level, it's the Facebook for sports. From players to fans, it's something you really got to check out. I fell in love with the concept, and I just met up with him actually and had dinner, and he told me all about it. It's a great thing. If you get a chance, check it out. It's not really promotion. It's just a really cool thing. I think you should check it out. Rawteams.com. Giving my man props.
No problem. And as we wrap this up, I'll just give you guys a little preview of what we're going to do on this week's main podcast.
We got big things planned, baby.
Super Bowl coverage, top to bottom. We're going to have one section on just the Colts. We're going to have one video segment, strictly on the Saints. Then we're going to have another one where we just talk about the over-under. And then we're going to have a segment, maybe two, depends how long it runs, on all of these props. So it's Super Bowl,
I've never been more ready.
Start to finish. And be sure to check that out. This has been This Week in Vegas. I'm Marco D'Angelo. He's Vegas runner.
Rank number one.
This 10 minutes. Hey,
you forgot this time. You usually introduce me as the only...
number 5 in the NBA.
I was surprised, but usually you said the only sports bettor on CNBC. You're forgetting. I got to start reminding.
Well, you know, the product last week. Threw you off. Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.
You're the man.